What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's happening, guys?
What's
Fellas,
up?
what tonight? Everybody's on cue tonight. Listen, guys, it's gonna be a great night tonight. I'm hoping that you guys are getting ready to chime in. We got the crew with me tonight. They're on the backstage at the moment, getting ready to jump in with me. Tonight, we're talking about control. I'm hoping that you guys will go ahead and invite somebody in. If you're watching on the YouTube page right now, I want you guys to make sure that you click subscribe. If you know anybody else is jumping in, tell them to jump in right now on the He Is Able show. It is on YouTube Live right now. Make sure you click subscribe. And while you are clicking subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so that we can make sure we get to you guys. As you can see, every time we get on, you get that notification. This is going to be a good show tonight. I know that you guys are probably wondering, what exactly is the show about? He Is Able is the show that we are actually getting ready to launch here tonight for the first episode, the first season of this show. And we're talking about men. Men, this is the man cave, and we are getting a moment. The women get a chance to sneak in and see what we're doing at the same time. And like, ladies, this is the first time you get an opportunity to actually hear what the men talk about behind the scenes. So, ladies, I'm hoping you guys are going to enjoy it tonight as well. Please, if you have any comments, you can call in on the number that you see at the bottom of the screen. And at the same time, you can also leave a comment inside of the comment box. I will be able to see that. We can see it. We'll be able to respond to you as you leave it there. Good afternoon, ladies. Oh, I see more ladies in the room already. I think, fellas, we're in for some trouble already. I'm telling you, man, we're in trouble. All I see is eyeballs on the screen right about now. So as you can see, there's a lot of eyeballs happening in the room, and they know that their troublemakers are already popping up. But listen, I'm hoping that you guys have a good time with us tonight. We're talking about control, the control factor in any type of relationship. How does it affect the relationship, and how does it feel? How and why do men feel the need to control? So we're going to be tackling that. As you know, well, many of you might not know, I wrote a book back in the day called Reinvention of the Black Man. At that time, it was a book that a lot of women jumped on board, and they rallied, and they had different women's meets, and I spoke at these different meets concerning this book. Well, this is like the recap, the relaunch, and the fullness of it at this point, being much more aged and wiser than I used to be. So, guys, I want to get an opportunity tonight to introduce you to the team that's with me tonight. I got Cameron Keynes with me, as well as Rashard Brown. Cameron, give a quick shout out to the people if you would.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We're gonna have a great night tonight. You know, we gonna focus on we gotta focus on and just talk about this. Give y'all a little insight on how we think, you know. And if you have any questions, just say what you gotta say. And just let us know. We're gonna have fun with this, right, Rashad?
That's what's up, Rashad. What you gotta say for us, brother?
Man, it's all good, man. Glad to be on tonight, man. And definitely want to hear some enlightening information. That's going to be life-changing information. And just talk about how we could enrich each other's lives and take this thing to another level with our brotherhood. And for the ladies listening, they'll get a chance to understand as a man think of, but sometimes, men and women, we don't think on the same patterns and levels. And then you might be understanding the way your guy, your husband thinks by listening to us. So I think it's going to be beneficial for everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I just want to give a big shout out, first of all, before we get started and all the way into our sponsor of tonight. It is Black Clover. Black Clover.
Yeah.
You see the hat. You see the hat.
All right.
Black Clover. We just want to give a shout out to those guys tonight. Thanks so much to Antonio Phillips for the push and the amazing gear that he gave me this week and sponsorship to the show. I'm hoping that you guys have a good one. Look, take a moment if you're watching this on Facebook world. Share. Tell the guys to get in here right quick, and let's watch this show. Let's have a good time tonight. So, fellas, let's just tackle this for a moment if we could. I want us to look at this in a way that, we can kind of get a full view of it. we're not going to just look from one angle, but I really want to look from multiple angles on this. But control, I know for a fact that there has been a lot of issues in dealing in relationships when it comes to control. Control is something that doesn't necessarily feel good, but in some people, control makes some people feel secure. So I want to talk tonight with you guys, if we could, and if you would, let's chime in on that a bit. What is it? Why is it that men? Why do men feel the need to have control in a relationship? Why do they feel the need to have control?
I think insecurity. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of insecurity. Sometimes, and we men get blamed for, I guess, cheating. That's the biggest word that they use all the time, and I think insecurity.
Okay. All right. So if it's insecurity, so coming from, like, now we're looking at this from male to females at this point. So are you saying that you believe that most men do this from a standpoint of insecurity? Is that what we're saying tonight?
Yeah, I remember one time I had a friend of mine. He used to his woman used to go out and to the clubs, and every time she came back, he would always smell her underwear. you know, I mean, I'm like, why? you know, if she gonna do something, she gonna do it. You
Right.
know, so look, why do that? But it's another subject I like to talk on that, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, I've heard that before. I've heard it before. I've heard guys. I've heard those conversations before
Oh
when
yeah.
those types of things happen. Rashad, what would you say chiming in on that, brother?
Well, I just thank the Lord, and I've always been blessed enough to really love myself and like myself a lot. So I've never been a controlling type person in a relationship.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I put a lot of trust in the people who I've been in relationships with, and I never felt the need to have to control them. I'm really a free spirit, and I like to run free, and I don't like nobody telling me what to do and how to do it and when to do it. So I don't try to impose the same thing on other people. But I've run into some guys that have a need to do that in their relationships, and I think those relationships they were in were very toxic. Most of them didn't last very long
Right.
because I see it a lot when there's a discrepancy in age. When
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
you know they feel that they can have a woman under lock and key, and but then when you put that type of energy out, sooner or later it's gonna come back.
Right.
It
Yeah.
Right.
comes back. Most of those guys that like that type of environment upon a woman, they can't take it when it's on them.
Mhm.
That's just my observations.
This is true. This is true. I want to see. So when we talk about uh, the relationship in reference, why do you think it is that men have? Why do you? Where do you think it stems from? That men become so controlling that it's become somewhat of a form of a toxicity inside of the relationship. It turns the relationship toxic. So
Well,
why do you
mhm.
think? What do you think that stems from for men?
I think upbringing. A lot of men, just like women, people have had, whereas they have grew up in a home with a father, a mother, or without the father, mother. They may have had an aunt or uncle that raised them, a grandmother, and saw certain things that they did when they were young. So it's then, carried on to them. They watched that, and that's all they knew. They saw their dad walking or their uncle walking and start beating his wife or his girlfriend. So I think it started from there, from like home. You know.
Yeah, yeah. How
Uh,
about you, Rashad? What do you think?
this get really deep here because how I look at a lot of this goes back to slavery and systemic racism. See, in
Right,
the history of
Hmm.
America, the black woman has always had a greater freedom to move around and do things than the black man did. So, and back in those times and coming up, so a lot of those men, they were very insecure because of the freedom and availability that the black woman had in the neighborhoods and dealing with white people. They didn't have that type of freedom. And I think there was a lot of control, and the resources they were scarce back then. So a lot of times, the women had a way that they could make money and go out and get jobs and be able to do things that the black man couldn't do. That they didn't have a certain skill or a certain trade. So, and that
Right.
caused an unbalance in the household and a lot of feelings for the man. He felt that he needed to be the king of his house, and it's a lot of it goes back to some real dark times in our history as
Right.
people.
Right. Right. And it's amazing. I see a post that looks like Tiffany put up. She said people may define control in different ways. What looks like control to some may not be for others. And I like that statement. It really does go back to one of the things that we spoke on, Cameron, earlier this week about confusing control with care. And
Mm-hmm.
is it possible that in some ways we confuse now, and I want us to be very careful with this. I want us to be very careful with this because, fellas, uh, a man can say that the reason why he is controlling is because he cares, and then it also flips back the other way. It also flips the
Mm-hmm.
other way because sometimes, even from a female standpoint, a female can what looks like control could actually be their way of showing that they care.
Right.
So, is there, when saying that and knowing that that's the case, but it could be the case for both ways, let's ask this question. The question is this, ladies that are online watching, jump inside of that spot. If you want to call in, you could call in also. But fellas that are here as well, is there such thing as too much, and where is the boundary line for caring for someone so much that it can cross the boundary line of actual control? It can become toxic. Where is that board? Where is that line? Where's that fine line at
Um,
that comes between them? Help me out right quick, fellas.
that's a
Ladies, if you want to
that's
drop a comment in, please do. Our call in numbers on the bottom of the screen. Uh, jump in, jump in. Let's have this conversation.
man. That's a real slippery slope right there.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of control issues and that are slash care issues come up when one person is more successful than the other person.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow!
You got one
Ooh.
person that's living their dreams and the other person is not. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it happen a lot. So they, because they're not pursuing their passion and going after their dreams, they want to try to, slow you down and stop you. And okay, I don't need you. Don't do this. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable here. You going there? Something could happen. This, that, and you see it in men and women.
Right, right.
Think a lot of it is fear, man. A lot of people fear, men and women fear. The ones that are not pursuing their passion and living their dreams feel that if this other person makes it, if they get what they're looking for, that they're gonna take off on them.
So here's the question though. So how do we see, where does that become
It's
toxic?
like,
Help me out.
I'm,
Where does
okay,
that become?
give you a
Where
good
does that
example.
become a red flag? Where's the red flag in it?
Let me give you a good example, man. I had a cousin, right? And
Mm-hmm.
his wife was pursuing a nursing degree. And he was working two jobs, two mediocre, below
Mm-hmm.
job while she was going to school. But once she got that nursing degree and started working at that hospital and started making more money than his two jobs together, he became very controlling. And
Mm-hmm.
now, since his fear was he didn't feel he was adequate enough to be with her now, so he tried to put parameters on her so that he could keep her boxed in because he felt that she was going
Right.
to meet doctors up there.
Go find someone different.
Who, go, and that was his fear. And he told me this, he manned up and told me one day, he was like, man, I can't even, I'm not in her league no more. So that was his purpose for having fear. And,
Okay.
the came from his fear.
So is the controlling factor there where it becomes bad? Is that controlling factor a matter of when you start to uh, uh, control when a person leaves home, what time a person needs to be home, what a person should wear, what they can't wear, who they can talk to, who they can't talk to? These are things that are more controlling. That now this is toxic. Basically, that's what we're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's another one right there, because it depends on what you do. Like if you're in a person, like I remember, I'm gonna use myself for an example. I was in the entertainment life here in Miami, so I was out all the time. I had a lot of women that I dealt with in the industry, so they had my phone number. That bothers some people, you know.
Right.
Times I would be out, the times I would be doing this and that. So from one perspective, and me being how I'm made, I was like, oh, I'm not going. Can't tell me who can call me. You can't tell me who can text me. You can't tell me what time I need to be here. Can't tell me when I. But at the same time, looking back now, I realize it has to be some type of balance to it. You can't just tell your partner, nah, you can't, it has to be a balance there. It has to be some type of consideration given. You can't just be, I'm gonna do F you, I'm gonna do what I want to do, how I want to do it. You gotta show some type of consideration. And I just know, after looking back, it's getting older and wiser now. I know I was wrong for the way I did that.
Okay, ladies, what do you say? Ladies that are online right now, I see you putting in the comments. Uh, ladies that are online right now, let us know. Give us a shout out. Let us know something here. So tell us, is there a defining line in the relationship for you, ladies, when it comes to actually having this factor? What makes it controlling? What makes it controlling? What makes certain things controlling? Let's see what we got here. Someone says that looks like Olivia said, yes, you're so right, because I was in a situation just like that. Okay. So what makes it controlling? Help me out, ladies. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I see y'all looking. Don't try to hide. I know I see you looking.
And we need somebody to call in. We need somebody to dial that number. I want to talk to you.
I'm waiting for someone to dial the number. The number's on the bottom of the screen, 702-487-2456. 702-487-2456. Call in if you can. What does it say? We got Marilyn on. She says, when you call, let me see if I can pull this up for you guys here. All right. When you call, because you care about their well-being and if they are safe, is different from wanting to know every detail about their significant other whereabouts, and if they are even allowed to be out and about. Okay. Let me say, I do want to say, I want to take you guys back on a journey in my younger days. I remember, like, even when I first got married, a lot of stuff travels with you through time, and it's kind of like we have to be very aware of the people that we are in relationships with, because you have to be aware of where they come from and what type of background they had before coming into the relationship. And one of the things for me was I was used to sneaking around with a lot of women before I got married, so I had a lot of girlfriends. And my biggest issue was not to have, for any girl that I was dating at the time, to ask me questions. My thing was like, questions is a no-no. Don't ask me questions about where I've been, what I did last night, who was on my phone. Don't ask questions. That was a big no-no for me because I didn't want to answer any questions. I felt like it was always a control issue, someone trying to stop me from having the life I wanted to have. So when I got married, what I noticed was that my wife could ask certain questions and it would cause an issue, not because I was doing anything wrong at the time when I married, but it was because I was used to a certain life and a
Right.
certain not having to answer to anyone. And so anytime I heard a question come from a female before, it was because those females before knew that I was a dog. So they were asking the question for the sake of control. But now with a wife, the questions were not being asked because she was trying to control me. The questions were really being asked from a genuine spot of care. So, but what happened, I could not see it that way. So it often caused the issue because I just didn't like being questioned. I felt like my wife was asking me the question because she was thinking that I was doing something wrong. But really,
Right.
that all stemmed from who I was before marriage. So, and then that's one of the forms of like what we talk about often, especially what this show is centered around, is the mental health situation when it deals with us as men. It does. I mean, we can rotate. It's a revolving door. It kind of rotates back and forth between male and female because a lot of these things can stem and be within either of us, male or female. But
Mhm.
when dealing with men on this show, one of the things that we do like to tackle is, fellas, how often have we actually considered a lot of the issues that we have in our relationship really comes from who we were before the relationship. We
Right.
think that mental health has everything to do with the voices in our head, but really mental health has a lot to do with the trauma and the situations that we dealt with in life through time.
You
And
know,
so those things,
but
those characteristics, those different things have tagged along in our life and has caused us to have multiple, can I say this in a way that will not make us all seem crazy? I'm just going to say this again, that this goes for women and men, so that way women can't say inside of the post that they knew us men was crazy. But I just want to say that that we have multiple personalities that we deal
Mhm.
with when it comes to who we were before relationships that
Yeah.
we go into. We put on our best face and we try to be the best person we could be for the person we're with. But if we have never dealt with who we were before and made sure that we have a total understanding of why we used to do what we used to do and why who we were before can't just be hidden, but it has to be a change in that process. Cameron, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I truly believe that a woman and a man, the the way a woman comes off as far as control is totally different from a man. I think because I think most of the time when men are trying to control, it's because they're trying to hide something, cover up something. You know, a lot of times when a woman is trying to control, to me, is because they're either making more money. You know what I'm saying? And they feel like you need them.
Oh,
You need
yeah.
them.
Oh yeah.
So when they feel that you need them, they
hold
feel
up.
like they can control the situation.
Wait.
And that's true. That's a fact. That's experience.
Hey,
Okay, so wait a minute, because I think you are about to start a whole fire on yourself.
Fire, fire, fire,
Okay,
fire.
okay. So what this brother just said, ladies, if you're watching, James, what's up, brother? Listen, ladies, if
Yeah.
you are watching, what this brother just said was that women. Wait, I'm gonna X out the men part. I'm going
Uh-huh.
straight for the juggler for the women. Women help us out. He said that. I already got somebody on the deck. Somebody already just popped up. Oh, really?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Fire, fire, fire.
So here's the question. The brother just said that women have, they manifest a sense of control or a spirit of control when they make more in the relationship. They
Hmm.
try to
Yeah.
control their man. Ladies, please tell me that's not you. Please, please, please tell me.
hey,
Oh boy, I see somebody.
they got
Somebody,
their
Hey.
I see the guys laughing in the chat.
let
They
let
laughing.
the truth be known.
Uh-oh. Hey, listen, wait, before we get into that part, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. and make sure you click the little bell so that you can get notified when we jump in. All right, come on, talk to me. Come on, talk to me. Is that a fact?
Hey, but I do have to say this though. Then a lot of times with women also, when they try to take control, sometimes it's not always they're making more money, right? No. Hear me out now. Hear me out. I'm not trying to contradict. I'm not. No. Not all the time. Not all the time now. Not all women. Not all women now. But sometimes out of sometimes a person could care so much, they're trying to protect you. And a lot of times we thinking we sticking our chests out like, oh man, why she keep doing that? But worrying about why I'm doing this and I'm doing that, because a lot of times they care, but they don't know how to control it sometimes and just let you be you, But a lot of women they'll go back to it. Sometimes they feel they have a lot of control when they're making a lot of money. Oh yeah.
But wait a minute, let's deal with the women first.
Yeah. All right, now.
The ladies Cameron has dropped a bomb in the
I'm not bashing women, though. Ladies, I would never do that.
Ladies, please tell me that it is not so that women become more controlling when they make more money. Help me out.
And ladies, listen. I'm not a chauvinist. I believe a woman should make the same amount or more if as far as getting paid on the pay scale. I feel they should make the same amount or more if they could do the job. I don't have no problem. I really believe in that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, no. But listen, I'm be honest. Most of the people I worked under in the past was women, and I love working with women as far as being my supervisors than a man. I'm telling you the truth. I tell people that all the time. hey, I'm telling you.
Hey, you telling that Deion Sanders right now.
I still have 10 toes. I still have 10 toes. Hey, I still have 10 toes.
I'm hard right now, man.
Hey.
You stirred the pot, my brother, and it looks like one of the ladies said, I think that our point of view seems controlling because we speak the truth.
Oh boy.
I hear fire back. I hear them fire back.
Rashad, was that Jada? I'm sorry. Oh Lord.
So I don't see too many ladies talking.
Oh man, we speak the truth.
I think they building up something against us right now.
That's not a fact.
We got some statement coming in. Hold on, let's read this statement right quick from Brother James Woodley. He said these words, okay, from my knowledge, women will take control when things are going left. If they are controlling in the beginning, that's only until man can take the lead rather than
I agree. I agree with him. I agree.
Okay, so let's talk on that for a moment then. If that's the case, okay.
Okay.
So, okay, guys. So what we're saying is that women will seem as if though they are women will try to or attempt to take control when they feel like things are out of control. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but look, this is the part I want. This is the part I want to add. It depends on the man's personality. I'm an alpha male.
Right.
When my wife made more money than me, I was the boss. When I made more money, I was the boss. I'm still going. I was the boss all the time.
Right.
So the money didn't make no difference.
Right.
It's the personality.
Right. And I hear all the time. Oh, go ahead, brother. You about to say something?
But like I said, with living comes learning and comes wisdom.
Right.
And so I understand now a lot of the ways I did things was wrong.
Right.
But we got to be honest, bro. Most of us growed up in jacked up situations where our parents ain't do it right.
Right. We learn what we see.
Yeah, we learn some stuff.
Right. And honestly, even if you look at it, you'll even notice that we've been taught from the corner. If we wasn't taught it in our house, we was taught from the corner to take control, run. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you have like you got the control of that woman. You do this, and the
Yeah,
woman can't tell me what to do. Don't let a woman tell
exactly.
you what to do. That whole nine,
Right, right.
that whole spirit has already been passed on to us through from either some people in the home, their father, they've seen it, or they've been taught that by big brothers or the guys on the corner. You know,
Yeah,
so it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of negative views when it comes to what we call control. I truly believe that many people. Let me give you this example right quick. When you see a healthy relationship, you'll notice that a woman really doesn't mind a man being the lead or the head or in any way, shape, or form leading her when it's a healthy relationship. And when I say healthy, my wife used to use the term back in the day. She used to always say, I don't feel safe. But safe, I used to always think she meant safe as a part of me protecting her or providing. But really, it was about me listening to her heart or showing her that I cared. You know what I'm saying? By
Mm-hmm.
having that intimate time of talk and conversation. As we start to view the role of being submissive, we learn and start to see as we get wiser that the actions that we portray, uh, it oftentimes is not hard to have a female that will follow your lead when you treat them right. And you know that's kind of like common sense, but coming from growing up, you don't understand that because it's not what we're taught. You know what I'm saying? It's really not what we're
Mm-hmm.
taught. And so we do a lot of stuff the wrong way in our younger ages. And then as we get older, you know, prayerfully, a lot of times this should change. You know what I'm saying? It
yeah.
really should change. But when I look at control, there are some people who have control issues,
Right.
Oh,
and
oh,
control issues are very easy to spot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
control issues is I don't want to see you talking to another person of the opposite sex. I don't want
right,
to
Right.
see you with another
right,
person of the opposite sex. They should never have your phone number. They should never talk to you on the phone. They
right,
shouldn't say something to you without me being present. That whole thing can be very that's controlling. That's
Right.
controlling.
right.
And then sometimes even in that, if it's portrayed the wrong way, it could really be an innocent place that it comes from, but it's not portrayed, it's not, how should I say, articulated correctly. It's not
Right.
Right.
taken, it could be taken the wrong way by the way that you project it, the way that you say it. So when we look at that, I just want us to be very, very aware on that. Now, ladies, I know I got the ladies on the line. I got the fellas in here. Somebody ought to call in. I really wish you guys would call in so we can get some voices talking to
Hey,
us, especially ladies. I
check this
see
out.
y'all online. Y'all are
Oh, this
dropping a
gonna,
lot
oh,
of
this
comments in here.
call right here. I got something that's I'm finna say gonna make them
Uh,
call in.
oh
Okay.
yeah, I myself too.
Oh, here
I
we
got
go.
got got
Let's
a
hear it,
couple
brother.
things.
Let's
One
hear it.
one thing is men that I've learned over the years is to not evaluate a woman's intuition as control. Cause my wife told me a lot of things about guys. "Oh, that guy ain't no good. That person wasn't no good. Don't get in business with that one." And boy, I went totally against the grain because I thought she was trying to control me. Man,
Control. Yeah. Yeah.
who I need to be in business with? What you know
Right.
about business?
Right.
What you know about this guy? I don't know this guy for years. See,
Right.
but God gave these women something called intuition that we don't, as men,
Brother,
don't have.
let me just sink in on that for a moment. And that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, man, because that is so true. And you know, something that God really put in me and my spirit with dealing with my wife, and that was one of the areas right there, man, when she would say certain things. It's for some reason, like in our culture, we were taught a lot of times in our culture that our women should just hear from us. But we're taught as if though we can't hear from them. And
Right.
so
Right.
when saying that, I learned the hard way, and a lot of times through my marriage, and thank God, you know, I finally got it. I'm glad I finally got it. But I realized that my wife, what God was showing me was the piece that He took from Adam was a piece that was necessary. It's necessary for the whole to live together in success. In order for us to be successful, we have to live as a whole.
Right.
especially in a relationship. It can't just be me giving all of the information when women hear from God a different way than we do. Women
Right.
have a totally different spiritual aspect and sensitivity than men have.
Mm-hmm.
So from their nurturing standpoint, they're a lot more sensitive in the spirit to what is there for us as far as safety, care, and trust. You know, they have a piece that we don't have. So when I say that, I want us to be very aware that if you listen to her, you can actually, and I'm talking about the good wife. Y'all hear me? Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Please hear me out. Every woman is not exactly the wife. Let me just say that.
Right.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying that woman who really is, I would say, a woman of God, or should I say, a woman that has the heart of her spouse at um at the forefront of her life, that she really is there for their well-being. When you think about that, you really get a chance to see that they will tell you things and see things that you don't see, because
Right.
they have a
Right.
different view and perspective
Mm-hmm.
that God has already given them. So
Right.
that's a natural thing. So you're right, Rashad. So like when your wifey tells you, I don't really trust that person, she's
Right.
picking up something
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
spiritually that we don't catch because we're not necessarily looking for
Mm-hmm.
it. Women look for things. Listen,
Yeah.
ladies, I'm look. I hope I don't start no trouble where y'all at, fellas.
No,
Y'all,
I believe. I believe. But.
women look.
Yeah.
Pay,
Yeah.
they pay attention. They say
Yeah.
curiosity kills the cat. Well, the woman is the epitome of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to stir the pot spiritually. She's going to be looking for the flaw. She's going to be looking for everything that could possibly harm you. So I think that we have to be very careful on not receiving from our wives, or the woman in our life. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry I got on the tangent there, but I had to drop
No,
that
that's
in the pot.
good.
One more time, Black Clover is the sponsor for tonight's show. Black Clover is the sponsor for tonight's show. I got a lot of people jumping online, but I wish that God y'all would call in, man, so we could
Call
hear
in.
y'all
Call
voice. Let me
in.
see what it says here.
Call in.
Or controlling a person set standards for the relationship, but he or she doesn't execute the standards they only expect their mate to. Example, the male tells his mate not to talk on the phone after 9, but it's okay for him to talk on the phone after 9. He will make an excuse for why it's okay for him, but under no circumstance is it okay for the woman. You're absolutely right. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Double standards, guys. I'm seeing
Yeah.
ladies talk
Yeah.
about double standards inside the relationships. Let's see what this says
Now,
right here. Kobe Sean has jumped on. He says, typically, your wife have your best interest at heart. A lot of times we may view it as controlling, not saying that they are always right, but that intuition 100 true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And we can't fault them for even the times when they misread it. We can't fault them for looking out for us. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the things is anytime that we think that we are enemies of one another. Can I say that, guys? Are you with me here? Anytime that
which
you think that you have an enemy in your home, you will not receive from them.
That's a whole,
Are
that's
you
a
guys
whole
with
that's
me?
deep.
podcast.
Are you guys with
Oh
me
yeah.
tonight?
Oh yeah.
Another
Anytime.
podcast, bro.
That's a whole nother broadcast,
Yeah.
right? Maybe we need to put a note down. Let me just put a note down for that, right quick, like so I don't forget it. But anytime you feel you have the enemy in your home, you cannot receive from them. And so I want to just enlighten on that topic just for a second. I just want to say that we have to really understand and really pay attention to this, that there is such thing as offense. And in relationships, we do find ourselves offending one another, sometimes in word and in action, when living
Mm-hmm.
in a home together. That's just the truth of the matter. So when I say that, I have to say this. In order for you to make sure that the relationship itself is kept safe, you have to learn how to roll offense off your
Oh.
back like water on a duck. if you expect to survive this, for this relationship to survive, because it's so easy to become enemies and knowing that you love each other, but at the same time, it's just something about being offended that makes you feel like the other person is out to get you all of a sudden. I just have to say that. So go ahead, Rashad. Was you about to say something, my brother?
Yeah, man. I mean, I just realized in life, man, that everything that you're giving a coach or a teacher. Now, these relationships and marriage, we don't get no instruction about this, man. We most time we just jump right in this thing. Most time
Come on, man.
we
Come
don't
on.
have a clue what we're doing. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
the guys nor the girls, and it's a growing process, and it's a blessing of God if you can stick together enough to go through the growing pains to get to know each other, to really know each other, really learn from each other, and really be able to listen to each other. Because like me, I was in the streets a lot too, and so somebody asking me questions, I feel like you the police.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you bring that mentality into your relationship. You know, your I'm going.
Right. No questions.
Like,
Don't
what
ask
time
questions.
you
Yeah.
coming? Hey, don't ask me all those questions. You know, but I'm not saying it because I'm going out to go mess with some other woman or do something like
Right.
that. I've been ingrained to think like this for so long,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
we don't communicate.
Right. Right.
Right.
You don't tell them the purpose of why you act the way you act, the
Right.
why you say the things you say, and it's the same we're dealing with the women
Right.
because we don't know why they ask us these questions. We don't know what happened in their life to make them
Right.
where
Right.
you going, what time you gonna get back. You know, we don't know these things, but it's a process, brother. It's a
Right.
And
process.
I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry,
mm-hmm.
Cam. I'm gonna jump
No,
back
no,
in.
you're good.
I'm glad you said that, and that's the truth. The truth of the matter is, we we go to school. We spend all of those years in school learning all of the mathematics, education on English, science, social studies, all of this stuff. We spend our whole entire life doing what we do, but then when it comes to marriage, we do like 3 days or a week of marriage counseling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Marriage counseling is 3 days or a week, and they give you a
Yeah.
certificate and say, man, you are ready to get married. And the
Mm,
truth of the
Uh-huh.
matter is, we're so far away from being ready for marriage. We've
Look, bro,
never learned the art of marriage. Period.
let me,
Even
hey,
if you
bro,
watched your
Th-
parents, even if you watched your
Mm-hmm.
parents, you
yeah,
still have not learned the art of
I
marriage.
mean,
hey,
And
but check this out now.
yeah,
Everybody that's on this podcast can say this. It was a couple you thought when you was young that was happily married. And
yes,
then when you got older, you realize how many problems they really had.
right,
Even the ones we thought was great relationships had
right,
a lot of,
right.
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right,
we
right.
it's a process, bro. It's a
Yeah,
process.
it's a process. And you know what? What the thing that makes that process better, and this is something that I learned, the thing that makes the process better is when we really get to the point to understand. If we both can understand that we both have different backgrounds, different upbringings, and that we're both going to have different ways of responding to things,
Yeah,
we'll be able to work it out together much better. But it is completely hard to be able to do so if we come in thinking that everyone thinks like us.
yeah,
And so that's where control really does come in at a lot of times inside of the relationship. When a person is not doing it the way you would do it, the way you would handle it, then you try to make them respond the way you respond, or handle things the way you would handle things. We have to realize we're different people. We handle things differently, and we're not going to be the same. And it's okay. Can I say that again? It's okay if you don't respond like I would respond. It's
right,
okay.
exactly.
If we ever get to the point to realize that and say, you know what? It's okay. You're not going to be mad like I get mad about certain things. It's okay. When you do
Right.
get mad, you're not going to respond like I respond the same way. When we stop trying to hold each other according to what we believe perfect is, then a lot of that factor of control will disappear, and that does become very toxic. It becomes very toxic
Hmm.
when you put your measurement of perfect on another person. Cameron, you're about to say something before you got cut, brother.
Yeah. Insecurity could also come from being independent too. Like if a couple come together
Right,
and they're independent, come from independent standing where they're used to doing things on their own, and they have an old boyfriend, both sides, and girlfriend, and sometimes that person might have boyfriend still calling them, you know,
right,
and then next thing you know, why is he still? So the guy builds up insecurity, or the woman may build up insecurity, like why is she calling you? And it
oh
might just
wow,
yeah,
whoa.
oh yeah, it could go
So
both
see,
ways,
so now
man,
you just
and
painted
cause
another
problem.
picture.
Yeah, man.
Hold on. So you just
Yeah.
painted another picture. So are you telling me that a person in a relationship, male or female, their actions can cause you to become controlling
Yes.
because
Hmm.
their actions are risque?
Right.
Say for instance, if you have an ex that you used to be with before you got married or came into the relationship, and you have not cut ties, and you feel
Right.
okay to be on the phone late at night with your ex, or you have those text messages back and forth to your exes and stuff like that, and you feel comfortable with it, can those actions cause the other person to
Hmm.
become toxic?
But listen, it might not just be late at night like they trying to sneak behind the person back. It could
Right.
be a
Just
casual
do it.
call from here,
Yeah.
now and then, but the person's still calling. Well, that's my friend, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Whoa.
so
So here's something that I have to say this because this is one of the things that I did in one of our recent men when the guys got together and we spoke. And what does it say? Hold on, let me read this right quick. I'm gonna throw that on the line in a few seconds. Before I read that, I want to say something. One of the things I said with the men as we gathered one time recently, we had a men's gathering and we spoke on relationships. And one of the questions that I had was, what is it? What is it? What is it about the relationship? When you got with the person you're with, how angry, how many times you got angry with them, how many times you got upset with them about things that they did. And then the next question I asked was the question that I asked them was, when you got together, did you sit down together and say what your expectations were before you married? Did you get together and say your expectations? So that was the question.
mhm,
And mostly the answers were no, I never stated what my expectations were. I just expected for them to love like I love, understand like I'm an understanding person, do like I do, clean like I
mhm,
clean, do this, do that. So when you start to think about that, a lot of times it's unfair how we treat the other person because we've never had the conversation that
right,
of the things that we like and don't like. So then when we do the things that you don't like, then the person could easily become angry and try to make you do what they like. Because now the control factor is to make a person conform to what you believe. Hold on, we got a call coming in.
boy.
One moment. Hello, 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 caller. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
And who am I speaking to tonight?
Is Marilyn of Rodan?
Marilyn wrote that.
Yeah.
How you doing, fellas? Can we get Marilyn on the line tonight? Can you guys hear Marilyn?
Yeah, we can hear her.
Okay, Marilyn, go ahead with your question or statement, please.
You know it was coming. You know my phone call was coming. The comment that you said about sometimes controlling or insecurity can come from individuals' actions. I don't know, because there's so much, y'all.
That's
Y'all.
okay. That's okay. Take your time.
She said we got it on edge.
Oh, okay.
But that comment, once you, does that insecurity come from? Yeah, y'all got me on edge. does that insecurity come from your past hurt that doesn't allow you to trust that person, or that makes you think of that person as starting dating? So when you see somebody, your so-called partner, whether it's girlfriend or wife at the point, when you see their actions a certain way, and your train of thought starts thinking, okay, now that might, is that a thought from you now, or is that thought coming from your past relationships and your past hurt that you're now bringing forth to your new relationship?
It can be, but a lot of times people it could be sometimes that person not doing anything. It could be an illusion where something from their past and it looks like the phone might ring or whatever, and you might hear a certain voice on there and think it's a man, but it's a woman. You see what I'm saying? So that's not always true. Whereas it could be from the past. You understand?
Wait, before you guys go further, I wanna address the past. So let me just say, so let's, because when you originally said it, Cameron, you said it's their past person that they were with, or the relationship that they used to be in before. So I want to kind of stick in that spot for a second.
Okay.
So when she's asking this question, she's saying, is that uncomfort because of something from your past that hurt you in the past? Would that uncomfort
Okay.
come from something of that nature? Before you answer that, I just want to say I think that people should have a clear understanding with each other coming into a relationship where, okay, look, if this is going to be a problem, maybe we shouldn't go into this relationship. But I don't like, I don't like for an ex to call you. I don't want you in contact and being best friends with a person that you used to deal with or sleep with. So that I think should happen at the beginning of relationship so that people can have a fair say on what they feel, so that it's not an issue. But Cameron, you go ahead
You,
now
you,
with your
you,
response, please.
you know something you just said. A lot of times, as far as like you were saying that we should have all that clear before we get into a relationship. But us men, talking about us men, a lot of time all we see is a figure. We see how nice they look, how they smell, and then sometimes you don't get deep into, as far being mature, educated, as far as sitting there and say, hey man, how's your mom? Trying to check the background of that person. I had a person a long time ago told me, a lot of men, women, I should say men, would say, I'm not marrying your mother, you know, but
Right.
really that person is. You understand?
Right.
Because or who it depends on who raised them. That's who they marry because a lot of times people stand from what they were taught.
So
But
Marilyn, I think his answer to you was yes. It could stem from past hurt and things of that nature that causes the response to be that way.
What I want to add to her also.
Because in that sense, it does go both ways. I can understand how it goes both ways. Previous past hurt and being in previous relationships where it made you think and have that mentality, so you bring force to the present relationship, not realizing that your mentality is still from that. But Brother Cameron, yeah,
yeah,
we're watching you.
yeah, no, I could hear. I could hear you better now. Before I couldn't hear you as good, but I can hear you clear now. Yeah, yeah, I can hear a lot better now. Yeah,
Thank you, Marilyn, for calling
yeah,
in.
thanks.
Thank you for the call in. I appreciate it. Awesome. Go ahead, Rashad. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, it's another aspect that you got to add, man. See, a lot of these issues that we deal with as men and women didn't come from relationships that we was in. It was from our upbringing.
Yeah,
It's a
Right.
lot of trust issues. It's a lot of hurt, a lot of
Right.
pain came from our childhood that we
Right.
never dealt with. And we brung
Never
those relationships with people.
Right.
Like,
hmm
I had a lot of trust issues with women. It did not come from relationships I was in. it was some of the women I grew up around when I
That
was
you
a little
saw.
kid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it made me not trust women like that. You know,
Right.
Right.
I carried that into every relationship I went into. I carried that.
Right.
So it's a more complex and a bigger dynamic than just the people you're in an actual physical relationship with. You know, sometimes we got to go check our past and our childhood to deal with some of that trauma that we received as a child.
Right. And that's very important. And that's the whole purpose of this show is that us fellas, guys, man, this is why you guys got to invite more men also to jump in because this is the whole thing, man. Guys don't really look, women go to counseling, women go to therapy. They go and they talk. Fellas do not. Fellas have a really hard time going to therapy, a really hard time going to counseling. But what we will do is in some cases talk to the homeboy. And
Hmm.
but now the only downfall to that is everybody's not blessed to have a good homeboy that's gonna tell them right from wrong.
Oh yeah.
Our homeboys
Right.
are gonna give you a whole lot of
Yeah.
salt to throw in the wound.
Oh
So
yeah.
so we have to be very careful for that with that. And I think that this is the whole purpose of the show. Not that I think I know that the reason why we're doing this show and this particular channel is because he is able. The name of the show is typically saying that don't give up on our men. Don't give up on us. We are not a give up. We're not a throwaway. We're not the throwaway.
Right.
It's so easy for some people to walk away from relationships, walk away from fellas altogether, walk away and say that they don't want to. They don't want a man. They don't want a man. They don't want a black man. And but not realizing that there are so many things that we have picked up through our life that was not really our fault. And truthfully, when you're a child and you've learned something, you take that for gold and you believe it is the truth and the only way to do things. But when it comes down to it, when it boils down to it all, as we get older, when you can hear from someone else of your circle, somebody else that's like you, somebody else that came from where you came from, it helps the other brothers to start to look at themselves closer and want to do differently. This is a big time, it's a big time issue within our community that we don't have communication. I believe I spoke this a little bit a
Hmm.
while back with on another show, is that relationships for us has been an issue because we do not learn, and this is not just the black community, it's the Hispanic community, and most minority communities, we have not learned the art of communication.
Not at all.
Hmm.
Anger,
Yeah.
vengeance, and using physical contact has
Right.
always been yelling. That has been our way of communication and dominating someone and making it seem as if though the domination is love.
Right.
Physically dominating people and making them think that hey, when I can control you, I'll make you love me. I'll make you do what
Right.
I want you to do, and you'll become the perfect person because you're in a corner balled up and you don't
Right.
have a life of your own. So this is that time where we get an opportunity to really pour back now in our community into our men and let men know from other men that it's okay to learn something new. It's okay to learn a new way of doing things, and it's okay to show your emotions. Your emotions. Can I say that again?
Hmm.
It's okay to have emotions. We get taught so many times how to hide, compress, and get rid of pain and hide this pain. And we get coping mechanisms to destroy what God has given us a natural remedy to use. Pain is a natural remedy to pain, and that is dealing with pain. Not hiding it, not compressing it, putting it away. Let's deal with it. Let's face it. Let's become better. The name of the show is He's Able. He's able. Tell somebody about it because we are able as men to do better. And I just want to thank once again our Black Clover USA.
Yeah.
Go grab
All
the
right.
gear if you want to, if you can get it. Go and support those guys. They are our sponsor for tonight. Thank you, Antonio, for the sponsorship. We thank you guys so much for jumping in tonight. Fellas, any last word before we get done? We got a couple of minutes.
You know, sometimes people get into scuffles and stuff like in their relationship
Yeah,
I know
we'll
of a
put that on
place,
the next show.
safe
We'll put
place. Yeah,
that on the show.
yeah, yeah. I know of a safe place. But just you know, just put God first
All
and
right.
seek help.
Rashad?
All right, yeah. A very, very wise woman told me one day, you won't change, you be the change. Don't look to seek for them to change. You become that change. You make the steps for self-development to make you a better person spiritually, mentally, and physically, and watch what happens to the other person.
Amen. That's good. Guys, listen, join us again next Wednesday at 7:30. He's Able. Please go to our YouTube, He's Able show, and make sure that you subscribe and click the notification bell. Guys, thanks so much for jumping in. Share this with somebody online. And look, God bless you. God keep you. We're able. We can do this together.
Woo!
Hallelujah.
They say